Welcome to the live stream. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Today is Thursday, February 13th, 2025. In for a hell of a ride this year, I think. A lot of things are probably going to get worse before they get better. Tonight, we are going to be talking about popular survival myths that aren't actually true. I believe the title is Debunking Survival Myths, or Debunking Popular Survival Myths. Hello to everyone that's out there. I can't see which outlets you're here from, but we are simulcasting live on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Twitch. I believe this is the third Twitch stream. I was going to do it on Clapper too, but I decided I don't want to have to do it separately on my phone. So I opted not to. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's jump right into it. So there's a lot of different... Some of these survival myths have been debunked a lot of different times, but we're basically going to be talking about things that you may have seen with online videos, TV shows, social media. There's a lot of stuff on social media. Maybe Telegram. There's a lot of crazy places where a lot of information gets out there. Maybe even Reddit. So we're going to talk about survival techniques like rationing water, how long you can survive without eating, how to treat minor and wounds that are not like tourniquet needed, how to move someone with a severe injury, running from bears, the direction moss grows, snake bite treatment, and things like that. We're going to emphasize the importance of accurate survival knowledge. Pop your name in the chat if you want to say hello and let me know you're here. I will see exactly which outlet you are chatting from in the multi-stream chat. I'm not sure if my moderator is on tonight or not. I probably need to pick a couple different moderators as well, so I have more than one, just in case the one can't make it. All right, so one of the first common survival myths is water rationing. So there's a lot of people that talk about rationing water in a survival situation, and there seems to be a lot of significant debate and misunderstanding when it comes to water rationing. Common wisdom might suggest that if you're going to carefully ration, it's the best approach to ensuring longevity despite having limited resources and not very much water. However, when it comes to water, which is clearly a critical element for survival, conventional rationing advice may not be the most beneficial. Water is essential for the human body to function correctly, as are electrolytes. It is involved in basically every bodily function, every bodily process, including regulating your temperature, waste removal, the transport of nutrients. Dehydration can impair you not just cognitively, but physically. It can reduce your capacity. It can make you make really bad decisions. And it can make it difficult for you to perform necessary survival tasks. So if you're in a really bad situation, you do not want to be dehydrated. Symptoms of dehydration could be dizziness, confusion, fatigue, and in severe cases, organ failure and even death. So the rationale behind the myth of water rationing is because people think it's better to have a small amount of water consistently over time rather than to consume what little you have and run out quickly. The problem is that strategy ignores your body's immediate needs. Drinking water when you're thirsty rather than strictly rationing can help maintain your physical and cognitive function for as long as possible, which is crucial in survival, of course, where finding more water should be a priority. So experts in survival and wilderness medicine will argue that the best approach to drink is to drink when thirsty and focus on finding more water as your primary task. It'll ensure your body remains hydrated for optimal functioning while while the search for additional water sources continues. Modern survival training will emphasize securing water from various sources, collecting dew, rainwater, creating solar stills. If you have filters, you can filter water from really any water source. If you're not in the United States and need to worry about viruses, you need to make sure your filter can actually filter viruses, or just stick to single-wall stainless steel bottle where you can boil your water. You should be able to get your water boiled for at least a minute at a rolling boil, unless you're in a higher elevation. In a much higher elevation, you have to boil the water longer. A lot of people will say it's 3 minutes, but If you're not in a higher elevation, a rolling boil for about a minute should be good. And obviously, wait till it cools off before you start drinking it. Hey Mel, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So if you want to basically keep your body maintaining the right hydration levels to support whatever physical and mental capabilities while you're looking for other water sources, you need to do that. Because they've done medical research that shows rationing water, especially if you're already dehydrated, you're not going to function the same. So every time you hit a water source, drink a bunch of water. I think you lose, I want to say it's about a liter, at least a liter a day, or something to that effect. So drink water whenever you have a chance. Another thing, if you don't know how to get electrolytes in nature, such as pine sap, there's a lot of different greeneries, a lot of different plants where you can get electrolytes, but I carry this. I just buy these cheap bottles on Amazon and I put electrolyte powder. I just got one called Caged on Amazon and I've been using that for a while. This has about 10 or 12 servings. The cap for this is actually exactly a serving size. So you can use the cap to dole out your serving sizes. Now, you're not going to want to drink 12 servings a day. You can overdo it with electrolytes, just like you can overdo it with water, especially if you're drinking water and you don't have electrolytes. Also keep in mind what you're eating. If you're in a survival situation and you're eating things that need water to process that food, you're going to need more water to process that food, and you could still become dehydrated if you're not drinking enough fluids. So whatever chance you get, let's say you boil water in your stainless steel container, you let it cool, you drink it, you get nice and hydrated. Do it again. Carry it with you. If you have a Grail, same thing. In any way that you can, have water with you at all times, especially if you're going to a really hot environment. MC Stormy, the moon is made out of cheese. We dine on Mastica. Where is Mastica? I haven't seen him in here yet. Is he in here? Mel says, I try not to forget your live streams, but sometimes I do. I never get your notifications. Well, damn you, YouTube. They email me a notification, but other people have said that. They don't always send out notifications when they're supposed to, which is unfortunate. But what are you going to do? Oh, by the way, if you haven't already joined Discord, I'm going to put that in the chat again. I just have to disable streamer mode. I'm going to put the link to join the Discord. Keep in mind, if you go to join the Discord, it'll send you an automatic message that says you need to agree to the rules. And if you do it in a really weird time, you may not get added as a regular user and see all the channels until I actually get a chance to go on and review it. But to all my moderators who are on here, Mel, Nino, Yoda, anyone else who's a moderator who's on here, if you see that someone joined the server and you see that they agreed to the rules in the rules section, please feel free to switch them. You have to switch their user to standard. Don't switch it to anything but standard, and then uncheck the unverified one so that they're a standard member. You don't have to. I'm probably going to see most of them. You're not going to have to worry about it. All right, let me pull up this link. Give me a second. All right, I should be good. I'm going to throw this link for Discord in the chat. I haven't seen any memes yet. I'm a little disappointed that you guys haven't popped any memes in the chat. So MC Stormy says he thinks Mastica is building a hotel in the Dominican Republic. Well, that doesn't mean he doesn't have internet, so he still should try to get on here one of these times and say hello. If not on the stream, maybe do it on Discord. Since Discord is now up and running and reactive, I think we have 60 or 70 people that are in there right now. A lot of them were from way back, and we didn't really do a lot with the Discord, but that's going to change. We're going to try to be on there much more often. Hopefully. All right, so the next survival myth, and I've talked about this before on live streams, is they say you can survive 3 to 4 weeks without food, and in some cases you can. Some cases, people can go 7, 8 weeks without food. Here's the problem. That old adage that a person can survive 3 weeks without food is kind of a rough guideline. It's commonly cited in a lot of different things you see online when it comes to survival, but it really oversimplifies the complexities of human resilience and physical exertion especially, because the more calories you are expending when you're building a shelter or, especially using a bow drill if you don't have a good pace plan, you don't have a lighter or ferro rod or stormproof matches, you're going to expend a lot of calories. If you're on the move, you're going to expend a ton of calories just walking, carrying a backpack. All that stuff is going to add up relatively quickly. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. It also depends on what kind of shape you're in. It depends on, are you having enough water? You really, yes, could you go 3 or 4 weeks without food? Probably. Same thing with water. They say you can, die within 3 days if it's really hot and you're expending a lot of calories and you're sweating and you're losing electrolytes very quickly. It could be sooner than 3 days. It could be a day or two. It really depends on the circumstances. And even if you only have water for 3 or 4 weeks, if you're not getting any electrolytes, you could still die. You might not think you're thirsty, but without electrolytes, your body's not going to be able to handle it. And you may not last that long. So think of the 3 to 4 weeks without food as kind of a generalization. You need to always think about activity level, your health status, environmental conditions, and access to water, which is, again, very, very important. MC Stormy, I put in a meme, twigs and berries. So basically, physical exertion is going to significantly alter the equation. So if you're walking, 2, 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, if you're on the way home because maybe your vehicle broke down, your body's going to require a considerable amount of energy to perform basic tasks, especially if you have to stop for the night, build a shelter, you have to cut a lot of firewood, gathering water. A lot of the things that you're going to do are going to take a considerable amount of energy. You want to make sure you're putting in enough calories as you're expending those calories, because otherwise you could become very lethargic. The calorie intake that your body needs, you're going to feel terrible. And you may not even be able to do much because you might start to feel sick. So just keep that in mind. Because I remember once somebody told me, I don't carry anything in my bug out bag for food. I can go 3 or 4 weeks. That's a pretty bad idea. Because chances are if you're relying on just your bug out bag, you're not able to make it home very quickly. You don't actually know when you're going to make it home. So that could be a very dangerous proposition to not keep any type of sustenance in your bug out bag. At least have, like a SOS emergency rations, 3,600 calorie emergency rations, or the day treks, or really anything that's going to give you calories. But you really want something that's jam-packed with not just calories, but calories from carbohydrates. You want some healthy fats in that. That's going to help you, especially in the winter. A lot of people will render fat if they're out, roughing it in the winter for whatever reason, whether it's a course or whatever the case may be. Fat is going to provide you a really good source of energy in a survival situation. And you're not going to have that sugar crash. Just please make sure you have some type of emergency rations, not just in your bug out bag, but also in your vehicle. I really like the SOS because they're not going to get too hot. They're not going to freeze. They can withstand some pretty crazy temperatures, so you can leave them in your vehicle and not have to worry about it in the winter as well as in the summer. And with those, you don't need water. You don't need to reconstitute it like you would with freeze-dried meals. Freeze-dried meals are great. You can get them to last 25 years plus, and the emergency rations only last 5 years, so keep that in mind as well. You could also do MREs. I think they're more expensive than the emergency rations. They're probably better for you. You don't want to live off those SOS emergency rations for an extended period of time. It's not great. MC Stormy says pemmican or dry meat goods. Yeah, so pemmican, we actually have a blog. So if you go to our website, thesurvivalsummit.com, it makes, I can't remember when it was put out. It might be a couple pages back when you look at the blogs, but we have a blog that teaches you how to make pemmican, typically made with bison meat. You can go check that out, and pemmican is really an amazing survival food. Really amazing. There's a lot of newer versions of pemmican that I don't think they're using bison. They have a lot of different ways that they're doing it, but I kind of like the old school way. So check out the blog. Mel says, we have a store here that was selling MRE packs for $2 a piece. Make sure if you're buying MRE packs for $2, you're checking the dates. Because I've known people who've eaten MREs well past 5 years, but you got to be careful, because if anything happened to those and you end up with, a gastrointestinal issue or something from eating bad food, you're really going to wish that you didn't do it. So just check the dates and try to be careful that you're not eating food that could potentially go bad and cause some serious, serious issues. I would definitely want to look out for that, for sure. The other issue with the absence of food, especially if it's really hot or if it's really cold in the winter or if you're in a desert environment, not having enough food intake is going to impact your body's ability to regulate temperature. It's going to make it so you don't heal from injuries as much, and you're going to have a difficult time fighting off infections. For sure. Your weakened physical state is going to diminish the chances of successfully navigating a survival situation, making finding more food, finding water, very, very difficult. And especially, again, if you're on the move and you have to get to point A to B or B to C, wherever you're going, whether it's your primary, your alternate, or your contingency, you need to have energy to get there. And you don't want to be so worn down that maybe you even get injured trying to get to a place that you need to get to. So again, remember the notion that you can survive for at least 3 weeks without food, while it still does hold a kernel of truth, it really disregards the critical impact of physical exertion and environmental stresses on the body. So please, please keep that in mind. Try to keep some kind of emergency rations with you, if you're in a business where you have to wear a suit and a tie and you only have a briefcase, throw some extra food, something in the briefcase. Try to keep some extra gear in your pockets. Try to cover your core needs, shelter, fire, water, food, medical. Try to do the best you can. And if you can't do that because you're just packing too much stuff in suit pants, which is not very easy, keep it in your vehicle. Make sure you have some kind of a bug out bag with your core essentials plus navigation, signaling, communications, things like that. In the winter, don't forget you need a lot of winter supplemental gear, and that's going to be much heavier than your normal backpack. MC Stormy says, I'm going to Mel's. She's got goats and chickens. Well, you're kind of a little bit far from there, so by the time you get there, they may have eaten all the goats and chickens. Hopefully they're saving the chickens for the eggs and eat the chickens when they stop laying eggs. That would be the good way to go. All right, so shelter and fire starting. When you're trying to find a really good shelter in a survival scenario, it's going to be incredibly important, especially against harsh weather conditions and preserving your core body temperature. So that's why I kind of lumped shelter in with fire. So if you're going to do like a lean-to that you see in a lot of survival stuff online, it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty efficient, but that can significantly vary across different environmental settings. You got to make sure you're taking factors into play like the wind direction, prevailing wind direction, the availability and type of insulating materials, because in the winter you may not be able to find as good of insulating materials to pack on something like a lean-to. And you want to make sure that your shelter is going to provide the best protection and thermal comfort that it possibly can. And your shelter's orientation needs to be relative to the wind as well. You need to make sure that you're knowing which direction it's typically blowing in, especially if you're going to build, say, if you have some clay in your area and you're going to try to build a fireplace with either stone and clay or just clay, you need to make sure that you're not going to have a backdraft problem with smoke into your shelter. I think there was a guy on one of the episodes of Alone that had an issue with that as well. He was getting, or I don't remember if it was a guy or a girl, but I think they were getting a lot of smoke in their shelter, which can still happen because even if the prevailing wind is generally coming from one direction, when the wind is crazy, it can be swirling around and do all kinds of stuff. So you just have to really get really good at building a really good stove. And there's a lot of guys that do it and they can show you, there's a ton of YouTube videos. If you don't know how to build one, especially out of clay, there's a lot of great resources online to be able to do that. MC Stormy says $7 for a dozen. Yeah, that's price is getting up there a little bit. Mel says the chickens are great. She got 12 eggs today. West Virginia is pregnant, so the goat milk is coming soon. All right, let's see. Where was I? In case you haven't noticed, I did take notes again because I'm trying to stay on track with the live streams and I'm trying not to squirrel too often. So You also want to make sure that if you're using leaves or grass or even snow to enhance your ability to retain heat and ward off the cold in the wintertime. There's a reason why they make igloos. You can even dig a trench in the snow and use that as a temporary shelter if you have to. So when it comes to fire starting, sometimes the notion that a dry piece of wood is suitable for generating fire through friction is not necessarily the case. You need to make sure that you're really well versed in survival techniques, and woods are going to differ between their hardness. You're going to have hardwoods, softwoods, resin content is going to be different throughout. Most of the time, if you're going to build a bow drill or another type of friction fire set, you want a softer wood, and you want to make sure that it's going to be easier to do, because if you use a harder wood, you're going to have to use pretty much a perfect technique to really get it to work well. Probably one of the best woods to use to make a bow drill set would be cedar. You can also look at yucca. That's yucca with 2 C's, not one. Totally different plant. Willow, basswood, cottonwood. And I'm sure there's more that I'm just not thinking of. I didn't actually write more than a couple in my notes, but basically you want to use soft woods when it comes to building a bow drill set. Not that you can't do it with hardwoods. It's much easier to do it with soft woods. MC Stormy Equerel. I don't know what you mean. That sounds like Stella trying to say the word squirrel. It's an inside joke for anybody else who's watching it. Has no idea what I'm talking about. So stick with softwoods when it comes to that, for sure. Just remember, not all woods are equally efficient for fire starting, and your likelihood of success is going to be much greater if you're using the right kind of wood. So training is paramount. You want to train as much as humanly possible. If you learn the right woods and you make a nice bow drill set, put in some time. Put in a ton of time starting different fires with a bow drill set, learning how to collect the proper type of tinder. Just practice as much as you can, no matter what. And remember, pace planning with fire. Your go-to is not going to be a bow drill set. That's going to be the emergency in your pace. Your primary typically would be a lighter of some kind. Your alternate, probably going to be matches, preferably stormproof matches. Your contingency is probably going to be a ferro rod, ferrocerium rod to get good sparks, but you have to know how to make a really good tinder bundle to use a ferro rod. Let's see. MC Story says, well, you almost said some French. I guess that is possible. Where is Stella? Why is Stella not in here? That's what I want to know. All right, see, I'm squirreling again. So basically, the key to mastering survival skills like shelter building or fire starting really extends beyond merely watching instructional videos. You have to have hands-on practice. Even with gear, I say it all the time, a lot of people buy really expensive gear and they don't put any dirt time into practicing with that gear. So if you buy gear that you don't even know if it's any good and you don't practice with it, you're never going to know. And if you're finding out that your gear is terrible in a survival situation that could cost you your life or the life of someone else in your family, that's a really bad time to figure out that your gear is a piece of crap. So please don't do that. Get out and practice. Even if you buy something that's amazing, that has 100,000 reviews that it's awesome, doesn't mean you're going to know how to use it well. It doesn't mean that under stress and duress and bad weather, bad wind, rain, snow, any type of thing that could throw you off, especially if you don't have practiced skills, you're going to become very frustrated. And imagine having the most expensive piece of fire starting gear and then not knowing how to make the right tinder bundle and you still can't get a fire going. And imagine freezing to death because you didn't practice with your gear. That is not something that I want anybody to ever have to go through or to ever experience. So put the hands-on training. Even if you're watching online instructional videos, which I think are awesome, we sell a bunch of them, so I clearly think they're good. I think live training is better. I'm not going to lie and say that online training is better than live training just because that's what we sell and we don't do live courses. That'd be crazy. You definitely want some live instruction if you can get it. But you can learn plenty doing stuff, learning it online, and putting in the dirt time. You just got to put in the time, put in the practice, and again, do it in good weather until you get really good, then try it in bad weather. Just incrementally do it in situations that really test your skill level when it comes to whatever you're learning, whatever that might be. Even if you're practicing putting on tourniquets, do it with a partner. Don't use your normal tourniquet. Use a training tourniquet because you don't want to stress out the materials in a tourniquet and then go to use it in a real situation and you've used it so much for training that it could fail. Not that it would, but it could. You don't want to take that chance. So use training gear for training and regular gear for survival. Somebody, I don't know I think it was a social media comment because I had mentioned in a couple streams that my pack that I use for most of my training is a different pack than what I have for my summer pack or my winter pack. Most of the stuff in my regular packs are almost all brand new. And they were like, why would you do that? You need to train with the gear that you use. Well, the gear in my training pack is basically virtually the same as the gear that's in my regular packs. It's just, I don't have to sharpen it right out of the gate in a survival situation. That's kind of a lie because I've used this knife plenty of times, so it's not necessarily true. This is my summer pack that I used for a video before, and I've actually used this saw before, so I guess I lied twice. But I try on my main packs just to use gear that I have set aside for training so that if the teeth get worn down from training, I don't have to worry about changing the blade because, I'm not in a survival situation. But I want fresh gear in a survival situation. If you have the budget for it, why not do it? Doesn't mean you have to do that. I just choose to do that. It's a little easier for me because obviously I can buy survival gear at wholesale costs, so I can have more kits maybe than somebody else would want to buy even if they could. Plenty of people use the same gear all the time for literally everything. There's clearly nothing wrong with that. I'm just OCD about wanting gear I don't have to worry about in an actual survival situation. That's just me. Can be a little bit psychotic with that. All right, so the next one is eating raw meat, which I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about that much. I've seen it in a couple different movies before that it can be done. And yes, you could eat raw meat, but you have to remember, especially in a survival situation, there's a lot of risk of pathogens. Consuming raw meat and seafood for survival purposes if you run into an issue with bacterial contamination or parasite transmission from raw animal meat, you could be in a very serious situation where you could end up in massive trouble. And if you don't have any help, you probably won't make it. So you really need to be careful when it comes to that. Even something like bear meat. If you happen to, if you're a hunter and you take a bear out in the woods and shoot, you have to be careful because there's a specific, I can't remember exactly what it's called now off the top of my head, and it's not in my notes, but bear meat really has to be cooked the right way because I want to say it's not trichinosis. I can't remember the name of it. If somebody wants to Google that, the dangers of eating bear meat that's not cooked well enough, do that and then put the name of it in the chat because I have way too many windows open and I don't want to look that up. So you need to be careful when it comes to cooking bear meat. You do not want to undercook bear meat. Just don't do it. Same thing with seafood. There's plenty of seafood that you can eat without really having to cook, but you need to know what that is. If you're fishing in an area, especially if you're not familiar with the area, you need to be really careful because those pathogens can cause severe gastrointestinal issues, infections, and they can really compromise your health, thereby compromising your ability to survive. I just flipped back to the screen because I thought I saw comments, but it was stuff on Discord, and I have not looked at the Discord yet. But I think I saw Nino's name. For those of you who don't know, Nino I had him on the stream before where he was talking about bug-out vehicles and off-road vehicles. He's basically what I would consider my off-road vehicle expert. And I tried to get him on the Discord yesterday, and he said there was some issue with it, which I thought was weird because he's actually an administrator on Discord. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. All right. I shouldn't do this because I'm in the middle of a live stream, but Flipper00 on Discord, I see you in here and I see you agreed to the rules, so I'm going to add you and get rid of your unverified and put you as standard. Hopefully the moderators will maybe start tackling that stuff. Oh, Nino is actually on Discord right now, so I hope he's watching this live stream. If he's not, then I'm going to have some words for you, Nino, if you're not watching this live stream. Just want to point that out. And there is a separate channel in Discord. Again, you can scroll back up and get the link to our Discord. It's free to join. Nino is in the Overlanding and Vehicles channel. Not that he's there all the time, but if you have specific questions about overlanding or any type of off-roading or even mechanical issues with your off-road vehicle, Nino, I am nominating you. If people have questions or they want to throw pictures, that would be the channel to use on Discord if you want to discuss anything having to do with overlanding. So the next one, and I'm sure a lot of you have already heard this in the past, people will tell you that moss only grows on the north side of trees, so they attempt to use that for navigation. The problem is, scientific studies have basically challenged the long-standing myth that moss exclusively grows on the north side of trees. It was a misconception for quite a while, especially for people who were talking about wilderness navigation. But through ecological and botanical research, the reality that moss growth is not strictly limited to the north side of trees, but it's also influenced by a complex interplay of environmental factors, which include moisture availability, the intensity and duration of sunlight, exposure, and surface texture on which the moss grows. And there's plenty of published research I said that really badly, plenty of published research in ecological journals that indicate while moss does prefer shaded, moist environments, which can frequently occur on the north side of trees, in certain hemispheres, that is not a reliable universal rule. So be really careful. You really should have a pace plan when it comes to navigation. What is your pace plan for navigation? Your primary? Probably your phone. What's your alternate? Probably should be some kind of a handheld GPS or even a wrist-based GPS. It could be a compass on your watch. You really should have a normal compass as well with maps. You want to make sure you have the right scale of a map based on the scale of your compass, whether that's 124 or 125th. You really want to learn as much about land navigation as humanly possible, and you can do it. You can learn a lot online when it comes to land navigation, but you always want to try to take a live course if possible, so you can actually test out those navigation skills using something like a topo map, learning how to use a protractor properly. There's a lot of different details. Rabbit Hole says, it is even recommended to pan fry most bugs. Bamboo worms are best. They taste like sunflower seeds. Yeah, there are plenty of bugs and little critters that you can eat. You may not want to, but you might have to. Stella, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat, Stella. Thanks for stopping by. So again, be careful about navigating using the north side of the trees with the moss, because that can throw you off, and you'd hate to think you're going in a certain direction. But then again, if you're trying to go north, hopefully you have a map, because otherwise, where are you going towards? Unless you know in a certain direction there's either a highway or there's a river or a stream or whatever the case may be. Just learning land navigation, and again, having that pace plan for land navigation is extremely important. You want to make sure you have multiple ways to navigate. Because if your handheld GPS, or let's say you don't have a signal and your GPS isn't working on your phone, which really, if you're hiking and camping, your phone shouldn't be your primary anyway. It should be a handheld GPS where you can mark waypoints. I like to use the Garmin 64ST. It's a little bit older. There's probably better models that are out there now. But they're really excellent, because if I'm in an area, especially in an area that I'm not familiar with, and I want to mark, hey, this is where I found a stream or a lake or a really good water source, I'm going to mark that waypoint in my GPS. If I have a topo map for that area, which hopefully I do, depending on why I'm there, I'm going to mark that on the map as well. And if you don't, try to make a hand-drawn map. Carry the Write in the Rain paper and a mechanical Write in the Rain pencil, because the Write in the Rain paper is basically waterproof, smudge-proof. You're not going to have issues having to protect that paper. The Write in the Rain paper is amazing. So make your own map. Say, this is my base camp. This is where I found water. This is where I found berries. This is where I found another food source. Do that on a map, or on a map that you made yourself, as well as put those waypoints in your GPS. And you definitely want to carry some kind of either at least 25,000 to 50,000 mAh. Whoops. I did that again, And it did the auto zoom. Hold on, I gotta fix that. I keep forgetting hand signals on this new camera will zoom in if I make certain shapes with my hands. Sorry about that. And I just lost my train of thought. I totally forgot what I was talking about. Damn camera. All right. Old man memory, what are you going to do? I think I was talking about waypoints or something like that. Oh, solar-powered battery bank. So you want at least 20,000 to 50,000 mAh, and you want to be able to have solar. I'm not doing the L-shaped camera. Don't mess with me right now. This is a hand. This is an open hand. You want to make sure that you can recharge that with solar power. In case, I mean, don't get me wrong. You could recharge your GPS in a phone with a good 50,000 mAh charger probably 10 to 20 times, maybe even more, depending on how much battery you've actually taken out of that unit. So if you're going to carry a handheld GPS and that's going to be your primary if you're camping, have a battery backup for that. Make sure that you have backups for all that stuff. The old school days of regular batteries, long gone. With the really high-powered batteries now, with the lithium-ion batteries and the solar, especially with the ability to charge with solar, you can even buy solar panels that are folding, that are a little bit bigger, and you can fold them on the back of your backpack. You can put them on trees to get a lot of sun to recharge your devices. There's a lot of things that you can do. So I'm not saying rely on technology, but technology should be your primary. Why would you not want to use a handheld GPS where, okay, this is my base camp. I have to literally press one button to go where the water source is if it's further away than I thought, or whatever. Or this is where I found 4 different food sources. You can hit a button and it'll take you right there. But again, your alternate or your contingency, you should have a map. If you have to make your own map, make your own map. Put how many paces, whatever you need to do. Carry some pace beads, learn how to use them. You can make your own map and you can figure out a lot of stuff. If, for some reason, your primary fails, if your technology fails, you always want to have a backup. You really want a backup for everything. So one of the next things that I want to talk about is the belief that there's a superiority when it comes to alcohol or hydrogen peroxide for wound disinfection. I think that is a pretty widespread survival myth that has been debunked by scientific and medical research over time. Studies have shown that for most minor injuries, simply using clean water for wound irrigation effectively minimizes infection risk. So if you have a Sawyer Mini, or if you have one of those practical survival water straws that comes with a plunger, you can use that plunger. Now, of course, clean water. Make sure you're disinfecting the water either by boiling or whatever method you're going to use. And you can irrigate the wound with one of those plungers pretty well. So it's not only going to help you back flush your filters, but it can also help you irrigate wounds as well. The issue with alcohol and hydrogen peroxide is that they can be pretty harsh and they can be a little bit detrimental. They can cause damage to healthy tissue around the wounds, and they can even impede the healing process of certain cuts and wounds. So a lot of medical professionals are going to advocate for a little bit more of a general approach to wound care. So clean running water, mild soap, things like that to clean cuts. Even if at home your kid gets a minor cut or some abrasion, you really want to use mild soap and water. You're going to help remove debris, bacteria, without any caustic cleaning agents like alcohol or hydrogen peroxide. They've even done further research that maintaining a moist wound environment rather than using a drying agent like an alcohol is going to promote faster and more effective healing. Moisture is going to help mitigate, let's see if I remember how to say this word, epithelial cells and reduce the risk of scab formation, slowing down the healing process. Make sure that anything that you use make sure it's sterile. If you're carrying either S-rolled gauze or gauze that's in a pack, try to use sterile dressings. So if you have a package of wound dressing, whether it's an Israeli pressure dressing or like gauze or whatever it is, if it's been ripped or damaged or open, it could have foreign substances in there that could lead to an infection, so you want to be careful. Make sure they're using stuff that's sterile. And then, of course, take first aid classes, take a trauma class, whatever you can to learn how to properly help the wound. Rabbit Hole says, general rule of thumb is if it is potable, you can use it for wound management. Yes, yes, indeed. All right, so one of the other myths is that, I used to hear this a lot, that when it comes to moving someone that has a suspected spinal cord injury, that it's crucial that you don't move them at all. But that's not necessarily true. Obviously, get some medical knowledge. I'm not going to give you medical advice. I'm not a doctor, nor am I a paramedic. But a lot of people seem to believe that any movement of that type of injury can worsen a condition. But again, medical research has debunked a lot of that. Proper stabilization and movement techniques can prevent complications when it comes to spinal cord injuries. You don't have to immobilize the entire body most of the time. There's a lot of research that suggests that immobilizing the head and the neck while allowing controlled movement of the rest of the body can be beneficial in certain situations. But again, I'm not a doctor. Get medical training. Make sure you understand what you're doing. If you're not sure, don't move the patient or the person, whatever. It's not a patient if you're not a doctor, I guess. So I don't know why I said that. But just understand the appropriate protocols for spinal cord injury management, and don't do anything if you don't know what you're doing. It can be dangerous, of course. So there's a couple, I've actually heard this quite a bit, and you see it in movies all the time, is snake bite treatment. And I remember we were doing a bunch of films with Joshua Enyart, also known as the Gray-Bearded Green Beret, one of the most amazing instructors I've ever worked with in my entire life. He is awesome. We did a film with him called Wilderness Medical. It's like 4 hours long. It's all on DVD or USB or online streaming, but it is amazing. There's so much information packed into that training. I would 1,000,000% recommend that you get it. Even if you don't get it from us, get it from Graybeard direct. Get it wherever you want to get it. It's an amazing, amazing instructional film with a ton of knowledge and information. It's awesome. So the myth when it comes to snake bite treatment is the old cut and suck method. You see that in movies, or used to see it in movies all the time. That's essentially, we're going to make an incision over the bite mark and you're going to attempt to suck out the venom, which is not only ineffective at removing a substantial amount of venom, but it also poses a lot of risks, including infection and further tissue damage. Infection is probably one that's a little bit more of an issue with that. So the scientifically purported response to snake bites is to keep the limb immobilized in position lower than the heart and seek immediate medical attention. As Graybeard used to say, the best survival tool for a snake bite is your car keys to try to get someone to the hospital. If you're not anywhere, if you're in a survival situation and you can't get to a hospital, you have to try to get help, because depending on what type of snake bit you and what kind of venom it is, you don't always have a really good chance of surviving. Sorry, I'm getting a massive amount of emails that just keep buzzing on my phone. MC Stormy laugh, cut, suck, and spit. Yeah, that's not recommended in a survival situation when getting bit by a snake. So the belief that one treatment fits all type of snake venom wounds also is another dangerous oversimplification. Snakes carry various different types of venom with distinct components and distinct effects. Some venoms are primarily neurotoxic. Some are affecting the nervous system, while others will cause significant tissue damage or affect your ability for your blood to clot. So you just need to try to get to a hospital as fast as possible if you get bit by a snake. If it's a poisonous snake, just try to get there as fast as possible. And if you can, try to identify the snake species. That does not mean try to track it down and grab it or whatever. Just try to identify what it was, which can be really, really effective so that the doctors can figure out what the anti-venom should be and what the treatment protocol should be for that snake bite. So again, I guess if you can catch the snake and bring it with you, they might not appreciate that, but if it'll help figure out the exact venom that was involved based on the snake, you might be all right. So you really want to make sure, don't fall for that snake bite treatment. There's also, you can get a lot of you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at a lot of different places, snake bite kits. I'm not sure any of those snake bite kits are worth anything at all. Again, I'm not a doctor. Maybe there are some that have come out in recent years that are a little bit better. I don't think it would be a great idea to to use a snake bite kit because it just, I don't think it's going to help you. You really want to make sure that you can get to the doctor. All right, so one of the last items, and it can be confusing if you're in an area where there's bears. Like we have bears in the Northeast, they're mostly black bears. You're not going to find any grizzlies around here. But if you're up in other parts of the country, you could run into grizzly bears or black bears or worse, polar bears. So when it comes to bear encounters, there's a lot of people will say like you have to play dead no matter what, or you have to scare the bear and try to do this and that. But it depends on the type of bear. You really need to be careful when it comes, because there's a lot of myths surrounding bear behavior. Like I said, playing dead is not always the best defense mechanism depending on the type of bear that it is. So a grizzly bear, yeah, you're going to want to play dead for a grizzly bear or try to back away slowly if you can. You are not going to want to do what you do with a black bear and try to make yourself look huge and yell. You are not going to intimidate a grizzly bear or a polar bear. If you do that, they are going to eat you like you are a little morsel. So you need to be careful. And obviously, make sure you understand how to differentiate between the bear species. You should be able to tell what a grizzly bear versus a black bear would look like. So again, specific example is the risk of playing dead in a bear attack. If it's a black bear, do not play dead. Playing dead may deter a grizzly bear from further aggression, but with a black bear, it can trigger the predatory instinct that black bears have, and it may make them want to eat you if you're going to play dead. So don't ever play dead if it's a black bear. The black bear is where you want to make yourself look big, make loud noises, and slowly back away. You may be able to deter that black bear. And if the bear is already coming at you and you have to fight, you need to fight that black bear like he's trying to eat your children. You need to kick, punch, whatever weapons you can, right to his face. You need to try to be as aggressive as humanly possible. But again, don't do that with a grizzly bear. If you do that with a grizzly bear, bye-bye. It's all over. A bear, especially a grizzly bear, I think their claws can be 4 to 6 inches long. They basically would be like razors tearing through your skin. So you need to be really, really careful. So again, just to recap, black bear, try to look big, yell, scream, bang stuff together. Try to scare them away. Let them know that you're not just going to lay down and take it. Do not play dead with a black bear. Well, no one will ever see you again, more than likely. With a grizzly bear, don't get aggressive. Don't try to scare it, because you are not going to scare a grizzly bear, or a polar bear for that matter. And if you run into a polar bear, you should just pull out your cross, kiss it, and say, Jesus, I'm going to see you soon. Sorry. Sorry to my family, because that polar bear is probably going to eat you. Just want to point that out. MC Stormy, well, that guy's dinner just likes the spinal cord guy. So basically, again, the most important thing isn't like necessarily, looking at survival myths. You'll still see a lot of different survival websites that are still propagating some myths. And it can be a little bit disconcerting that some of these places have really big followings and they say some crazy things sometimes. I don't know if they're just copying things they've seen on the internet, but always do your own research. No matter what you're looking into or what you're looking up or what you're discussing or learning, do your own research. And try to get credible people and credible organizations to do that research, or just make sure you're looking up credible people. Don't go on Reddit. I'm not saying you can't go on Reddit and learn stuff, but if you spend enough time on Reddit, you're going to realize that half the people on Reddit have no idea what they're talking about. Some of them do. Some of them are experts in a lot of different things on Reddit, but the people that don't have any idea what they're talking about on Reddit are going to be forceful in the fact that they're experts in whatever they're talking about. And most of the time, they're completely clueless, but they make it seem like they have all this knowledge and expertise, not just in survival, but in all kinds of crazy stuff. Just don't take advice from people online unless they are verified experts or people that you know for sure know what they're talking about. You want to be really careful. Even everything that I would say, most of the stuff that I've learned from all these other instructors, do your own research. Don't take anything I say at face value. make sure you do your own research no matter what. Because there may be times where something has changed or information came out or different studies have recently come out, and I could be wrong. You know, I haven't done I don't do research every day. I try to do as much as I can based on what I'm going to talk about in a live stream, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert really in anything. So do your own research. Please do your own research. And if you don't and something goes wrong, don't come back and blame this guy. I'm just saying, you got to do your own research. So dispelling survival myths and mastering genuine survival techniques are really going to be crucial to save yourself or your family or your friends in some kind of an emergency. You need to recognize the truth amidst the widespread fallacies and misinformation that you could find pretty much all over the internet in every subject known to man. You need to be sure that you're getting dependable information from really dependable sources, but more importantly, again, hands-on experience and training. I don't mean like fighting black bears. I mean like building a shelter, starting a fire, all the basic core human needs: shelter, fire, water, food, medical. That's first aid and trauma. You don't want to just learn how to put on, little Band-Aids and little stuff. You want to make sure you know how to use a tourniquet, how to apply a pressure dressing properly, how to pack a wound with gauze if you have to, how to use a chest seal, how to burp a chest seal wound if you don't know how to use a decompression needle to avoid tension pneumothorax, which is basically when air gets in your lungs and you can die pretty quickly when that happens. You want to make sure that you have as much training as humanly possible. And again, don't have a lot of money to put into live training, or even if you do, but you don't have the time. A lot of us are busy. We don't have time to take all this different training. Do it online. And then just please don't try to train yourself by only watching stuff online and then don't ever practice. Because yes, maybe you'll remember some of that stuff, but what if the conditions aren't ideal? You may not be able to pull it off. You really want to make sure that you practice. So get as much training as you can. And be careful about watching just YouTube videos all the time. Not that you can't learn a lot of great stuff from YouTube videos, but you really need to make sure. I think the reason why I think that you really should have a more comprehensive, more tailored approach when it comes to online instructional training, which is why Survival Summit for all these years has been making a lot of instructional films with a lot of different instructors, because it's not just piecemealing stuff here and there from YouTube. It's a good, comprehensive, well set up training program for most of the courses where you can teach yourself little by little. Yes asks, what do we do with water? I'm going to need you to be a little bit more specific, other than, because if I just read that, it says, what do we do with water? I would say drink it. But I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. So if you can just be a little more specific in the chat. Welcome to the stream, by the way. And again, I will put that Discord link in the chat one more time. So if you guys want to join Discord and hang out with a bunch of different people, I want to say we have about 76 now, I think, that are in Discord. And don't be weirded out if you see a lot of memes where we're making fun of each other, because there's quite a few people in Discord that I've known for a while. And sometimes we're not very nice to each other and we talk a lot of smack. But it doesn't mean that we don't love each other, or at least like each other a little bit. And again, if you are curious about who the moderators are in Discord, I listed them, I want to say last night. I'm pretty sure I listed all the moderators last night. So if you scroll back up under General Chat, you will see that Yoda's Will, Stella, Vinny, Nino, Jake, the Bearded Cigar Lover, TSS Brianna, and Rabid Peanut. They are all moderators, and they're all people that I've known for quite a while. So those will be the people who will be, hopefully, when I'm not looking at it, monitoring anything weird that might be going on in Discord. Because we don't want anything crazy going on in Discord. We don't want any weird, no porn or anything. Just try to stick to survival and preparedness. I did get rid of the no politics rule because I can. And if you want to put Trump memes or something in there, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. Same thing with religion. I don't have a problem if you want to, put quotes from the Bible or things like that. Go for it. I don't have any issue with that at all. That was an old rule that I think I came up with a couple years back when I first started the Discord, and I deleted that rule, so it no longer exists. My wife just texted me and says, "I'm a moderator?" ? Why, yes, you are. You're not a moderator. I think you're an admin. I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure that you are an admin. I don't even know if she knows her login to this or not. She might not. I think she went on before and she was doing a couple things on here. I actually don't remember her. Oh, never mind. It's literally, I put it in here when I was talking about moderators. Your screen name is TSS Brianna. I don't know if there's a space or I don't see an underscore, so I think it's just a space. So it's at TSS Brianna, so you should probably figure out your login because you are an admin and a moderator. But if you're an admin, you're basically both anyway. All right, so we just got someone else that jumped in. Oh, hey, Ground Fog, how's it going? He agreed, so I'm going to switch his to standard. So you guys may see that there's some people that are in Discord that it'll either say moderator, which I believe is blue, admin is red, and then TSS subscriber is gold. I think standard is yellow. And then there's a TSS YouTube superfan. So if you're a monthly paid subscriber on YouTube, I don't even remember what it is. It's like $5 or $10. I don't even know if it's worth it because I don't know if there's really any cool perks except for getting the TSS YouTube Superfan label in Discord. So if you are a paying YouTube subscriber or member, make sure that you send me a DM on Discord and let me know, and I can look that up, and then I can change your status to a TSS YouTube Superfan. For the gold version, where it says TSS subscriber, that means that you are a subscriber on our website and you pay the $19.95 a month. You have access to all of our instructional films. And now you actually get this book for free, the Pace Planning book for free if you become a member. And again, sign up, watch as many videos as you can in a month, get the free book. You can dip right out. You don't have to keep paying unless you want to keep access to all the films and anything new that we put out. You can do that, but I don't care if you go in, pay the $19.95, get the free book, which is cheaper than what you're going to pay for the book because the book's $24.95. So just dip in, pay the $20, cancel. You don't even have to wait till the end of the month to cancel. If you sign up today, you could cancel tomorrow, and it won't deactivate your membership on our website until the end of that 30 days is up. So you could literally go on, sign up for the first month, get your free book. And if you cancel, I don't even typically look. So even if you're pending cancellation the very next day, we're still going to send you a book. So you don't have to worry about that. Ground Fog, how do we get EJ access in Discord? Let's see. I'm assuming you mean access to EJ Snyder from Naked and Afraid. EJ is very new to Discord. When I invited him last night, I sent him a text and he's like, well, what are you talking about? And then he joined. And I made him a moderator, but I think I need to show him how to use it. But EJ's channel in the Discord it's under text channels. It's called EJ Snyder Naked and Afraid. And I think I'm probably going to make a voice channel for him as well. And I'm going to he's been on the road a lot and he's been doing a lot of crazy stuff. So I don't know how much time he has, but I will try to get him in at some point to at least get in and talk to people. But if you have questions for EJ, make sure when you go in the Discord channel and you go to it's EJ Snyder - Naked and Afraid, make sure you tag him. So put at, let's see, I think he just put EJ Snyder as his name. Let me take a look and make sure. Yeah, so you just put at EJ Snyder and then put whatever you want to ask him, because if you don't put that, he's not going to see it. He's not going to get notified on Discord that somebody tagged him in Discord. And I think he has it on his phone now, so he should see it. But just make sure you tag him. Just like if you have a question specific for me or whoever, make sure you tag me. Put at Survival Summit and then ask the question, because if you don't, sometimes Discord gets really busy and there's a lot of people talking back and forth and asking each other questions, sending crazy memes and all this stuff. If you don't tag me, I'm not going to see it. But if you do, I'll see it. That goes for everything on there. And again, if you go in a voice channel on Discord, please set your settings to push to talk. The worst thing, and if you don't, and you have a lot of background noise, there's a lot of squeaking, or your mic's really crazy, one of the moderators is probably going to mute you. If you get muted in Discord, hopefully the moderators remember the old school message, tag that person and say, hey, please fix your mic, and then I'll unmute you. And then when you fix your mic, get back to them and let them know that you fixed it, and they will unmute you. Because sometimes when people are trying to have a conversation and somebody has an open mic and they forgot, you got people arguing with their wives, yelling at each other. We're going to mute you if that happens, or if you think that you're muted and you thought you had on push to talk, and maybe you're, whatever, on the phone talking dirty to someone, and then you find out everyone in Discord could hear you. That's usually a little bit embarrassing, so you want to try to avoid that. So remember, push to talk. Set it for push to talk. I mean, you don't have to if you're in a quiet area and you don't think there's going to be an issue with you forgetting that everyone can hear you, and then mute your mic when you know that you don't want someone to hear you. But if you're on push to talk, you can set it where you can press any key on your keyboard. I don't know exactly how it works on the phone, but on a regular computer, like I have mine set to, I think, the letter V. So on Discord, if I want to talk, I have to be holding down that letter V to be able to talk. Anyway, just a very, very quick lesson in Discord etiquette. But I'm hoping Discord will get really big and people will start to get to know each other on there. If you guys are in the same areas, if you get a whole group from a certain city, you could DM me and say, hey, we'd like a chat room specifically for Denver or whatever. And then as long as it's not just two of you, I can make a separate room where you guys can hang out in your own room and talk to each other, or you can have your own text channel and things like that. So it's fairly simple. We do have a lot of moderators. I don't know how often they're going to be in there. It could be kind of hit or miss. And if somehow you ever get kicked or banned from Discord, you should get a reason. Someone should message you, at least private message you on Discord, and tell you why. And if they don't, you can reach out to me and say, hey, somehow because you might have accidentally got kicked. Maybe somebody meant to mute you because you had an open mic, and all of a sudden they booted you or they kicked you out of the server and they didn't mean to. I don't know. I don't think they have the ability to undo that. I think that would only be me who could undo that. So just keep that in mind. All right. Anybody have any questions? Any questions about any of the survival myths or anything like that? Or just any random comments, anything you want to talk about? Tomorrow is Friday, so I'll be headed home. I don't know what time I'm going to be able to leave. I'm hoping I'll be home before nighttime, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Depends on how busy it is tomorrow, I guess. And then we're supposed to get a ton of snow. Sorry, I shouldn't be reading this email, but I get distracted very easily, as you can see. Oh, wait a minute. Why is my camera doing that? I have it on tracking. I didn't mean to have it on tracking. If it's on tracking, it'll follow me pretty much wherever I go. But sometimes it'll do the random movement when I don't want it to. Let's see. See, now I'm curious. Mike Vogel, who's actually my immediate boss for my construction management career, says go home early. Now, Mr. Vogel, what time exactly can I be leaving early? Let's put a number on this so that all of the people in this stream will know for sure that it was okay. I'm just kidding. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Vogel. Good to see you as usual. I've known him since we were kids. 12, 11, something like that. Can't remember. He lived right next door to me. Stella says, Canada will be the 51st state? I'm not sure. I would say this. Whatever Justin Trudeau, whatever nonsense is coming out of his mouth, I wouldn't listen to any of it because he's not really even in charge anymore. And it's just, I don't remember when he's leaving, but I think he'll be gone very soon. Oh, damn. All right, for the record, Mr. Vogel says 12. He's saying I could leave at noon. So everybody remember that. Write it down, take a screenshot. I'm just kidding. I just might. Depends on what's going on. I think it's just going to be some basic stuff with very limited guys there anyway. Ground Fog says, I just want to say a vehicle recovery kit traction boards is often overlooked kit in my opinion. Yeah, vehicle recovery kits, traction boards, ropes, winches. Actually, Nino, if you're in here, throw something in the chat. I know he was in Discord a few minutes ago, but Nino and I think in the spring we're going to be doing a video on vehicle recovery with Nino's vehicles. So we're going to really smash them up. Nino has he has a Land Rover Defender. What I think he just said, he put a new motor in it. He also has a Range Rover. He may have more than that. I think he's got more than that. He's always buying new vehicles and changing out parts and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's see. David Warner, is Mr. Vogel invisible? I don't see his comment. Oh, David, so you don't see his comment because he's actually commenting from Facebook. So this is a simulcast. So right now we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. So unless you're on whatever specific channel that he's on, you wouldn't see it. I can see it because I have the multi-stream chat on Streamlabs OBS. I always forget that not everyone can see everyone else's comment. I should probably should have said that before. So if you're commenting from Facebook, you're only going to see comments from Facebook because that's the only platform that you're on. Most of the people that are on here are usually on here from YouTube and X. Actually, I'm curious how many people are on from X right now, so I'm going to take a look at my own live and just see. All right, looks like there's 8 people that are on here from X and YouTube. Let's see, where is the YouTube live? YouTube, I think it's 8 on YouTube as well. I think we have 20 on right now. Facebook, well, that would mean that there's probably 4 on Facebook, unless there is some on Twitch, but Twitch is fairly new for us. We used to have a lot more followers, but we stopped. There's only 2 on Facebook, so I'm assuming there's 2 or 3 on Twitch. And I think we just lost 2. So maybe the people on Twitch were like, bye. And that is perfectly okay. So yeah, sorry about that. I should mention that. Yeah, Mike Vogel says, yep, Facebook, I'm like the only one. He is old. He's not that old. He's my age, but he looks like 10 years younger than me. So for that, sometimes I hate him. He has no white hair. His hair is all like basically black, and he looks just way younger than me. His beard also has no white. By the time I'm 80, he's probably going to look 60, and we're basically the same age. It's quite disgusting. Anyway, what are you going to do? I wonder... No, I don't think there's a good way for that, so for everyone could see every chat. Because if you're on YouTube, you're only going to see people chatting from YouTube. So, Fog Shade is from Twitch. Welcome, Fog Shade. Thanks for stopping by. Gerald, I hope I say this right, Cermak. This old guy is on Facebook. So, Vogel, you're not alone. There's another guy on Facebook with you. Oh, I think you are older, but I think only by a year. Are you trying to rub it in that you are technically older than me and you have no white hair and you look way younger? Because what the hell, man? Why you gotta kick a man while he's down? That just seems wrong to me. Fogshade, I think you might be the only one that's here from Twitch. There was 2 people on Twitch, but I don't know if there still is or what the case is. It sucks because Twitch I want to say we had at least a few hundred people that were following us on the old channel, but we were doing that quite a few years ago where we were streaming just on Twitch. My ex-partner and I, partner in the business, not like in a weird way, we were always messing around on Twitch and doing streams here and there, but for whatever reason, I think that channel may have gotten taken down, or maybe I started I don't know what happened. David Warner says, we can't tell Mr. Vogel how hardworking and dedicated you are until he logs on to YouTube. So Mr. Vogel, David's saying that I am very hardworking and dedicated, and he wants you to know that, even though you can't see his chat because he's chatting on YouTube. He just wanted to point that out. So now you know. He already knows. I hope he already knows. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back up because there was quite a few comments that came through, and I want to make sure that I caught them all. And I think somebody else just joined Discord, so I'm going to check. Mr. X Ritz. So Mr. X Ritz, all you got to do is go to the rules section and click, and write agreed, and then you will get added as a standard member. Then you will be able to see the channels. I believe until you become a standard member, by agreeing to the rules, I don't think you can even see most of the channels, but I've set this up so long ago, I don't remember exactly. So whoever just joined Discord, make sure you put the word agreed into the rules, and you will be added as a standard member, and then you can go in whatever channels that you'd like. And you guys, if you're on Discord, you can go into general voice if you have a microphone and you want to talk to people, or you can just chat in general chat or whichever category you want to chat in. It really doesn't matter. Just be careful about using the @everyone, because if you @everyone, literally everyone will see what you wrote. If you think you have an amazing, funny, crazy meme that's awesome, that maybe people haven't seen, you could add everybody on that. But if your meme sucks, maybe don't add everyone on that. And don't worry, people will tell you if your meme is terrible. Especially some of the people I already know on Discord. They will not hold back. They'll be like, what is that crap? But it's all fun and game. All right, Mr. Ritz, you have been added. You should be able to see all the channels now. So tomorrow's Friday. I may jump on Discord tomorrow when I get home, which now looks like it might be 5, 6 o'clock. So I may get on Discord tomorrow. Mike Vogel wants to know, who do you have planned for your next guest? I thought the doc last week was good. Yeah, so Dr. Roland from Jace Medical. Whoops, I got all these screens open. I can't see what I'm showing you. Dr. Roland from Jace Medical. If you missed the live with the doctor, you can still watch it on Facebook, X, or YouTube. You can rewatch it again. I think it's 2 or 3 streams back. There is actually another doctor. There's a guy that I was talking to on Instagram. I think he was on season 9 of Alone, and I think his screen name is Survival Doctor. And I think I have a call with him next week. I'm going to see if we can do some kind of collaboration, but I may actually want to get him on one of the live streams, because that guy is a wealth of knowledge. He's a really, and he's got, it's not just a doctor. I mean, he's got a lot of survival experience, and I think he made it pretty far on that show Alone. I'm pretty sure it was season 9. And I'm pretty sure it's Survival Doctor is his name on YouTube. So, sorry, on Instagram and YouTube, and I think on Facebook too. I think the name is the same. But if you go to Survival Summit's Instagram, you can actually look at who we're following, because we're only following, I think, 29 or 30 people. Yeah, Survival Doctors with an S. Very interesting gentleman, so I may try to get him on at some point. But I really still need to figure out the audio. I may actually try to get in touch with someone at Streamlabs, like customer service, and say, hey, I'm running into an issue when I have a guest where my audio gets lower and theirs seems higher, and I can't, there's no way for me, I haven't found a way to fix that in the audio settings, so I need to figure out what's going on. Mike Vogel wants to know, any guest appearance from EJ? So we did have EJ on, I want to say that was probably a few weeks ago at this point. But I should get him back on. Probably get EJ back on at some point. You know, one way that I might be able to do it without having any audio issues is, I think, because I still have a paid Zoom account. So if I want to jump on with someone like the Survival Doctor or someone like EJ, maybe I'll jump on them in Zoom, and then I'll do the live screen share, because then the audio will just be desktop audio, and you'll be able to hear the audio perfect, and I don't have to worry about fixing this, whatever this nonsense is. I may also look into StreamYards. StreamYard, I hear, is pretty good, and it may be a little easier to use than Streamlabs OBS. Maybe a little bit more intuitive, because Streamlabs OBS has a ton of features, but if you are not as tech savvy with me when it comes to things like Streamlabs, it takes a little bit of time to get things right. And my son used to be amazing at Streamlabs OBS, but he hasn't really used it in a while, so I think he's forgotten a lot of stuff about it. So I kind of need to learn a lot of that stuff on my own. So hopefully EJ will be on at some point. And hopefully he'll jump in Discord and jump in, in with a microphone at some point. I let him know that EJ Snyder channel on Discord was specifically his, so if people had questions, just again, make sure you at EJ Snyder, make sure you tag him in your question. And if he doesn't get back to you after like a day, you can shoot me a DM and I'll text him and be like, hey man, you might want to open your Discord app every once in a while. It's going to be difficult because EJ is, I don't want to call him old because he's going to get mad at me if he's listening to this stream, but he's not exactly technologically savvy. I think that's the nicer way to put it. That's the way I'm going to leave it. He's not that great with technology. But he's a wealth of knowledge. So if you have questions for EJ about anything, I think he's actually coming out with a book that's going to be, I can't remember. He's writing a few different books right now. One of them I think is going to be all about his experiences on Naked and Afraid. But I don't think that one's coming out first. David Warner says, I'd love to see an episode with Patriot Nurse. Patriot Nurse. Let's see. Let me look that person up because that doesn't sound familiar for some reason. Hold on one second. All right, let's see. There's quite a few of them on Facebook. Hey, David, pop a link in the chat to that person's social media so we can see for sure who exactly you mean. Because I could probably reach out to them on either Instagram or Facebook and see if they want to jump on and come on to the live stream at some point. Or you can send me an email, Jesse, Jesse, at thesurvivalsummit. Oh, she's a YouTuber. Okay, let me look it up on YouTube then. Patriot Nurse on YouTube. You know what? All of you in the chat should reach out to Patriot Nurse and say, hey, you should go on Survival Summit's live stream. We all want to hear from you. And then when I reach out, 578,000 subscribers. So her name looks like The Patriot Nurse. At The Patriot Nurse. She has a pretty big following. So if you send her a message about Survival Summit with our measly 104,000 followers on YouTube, she might say, I don't think so. But you never know. Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched any of her videos before. She's definitely got some good titles, and yeah, I'll try to get anybody on. Really wouldn't matter who it was. Anybody that you guys want to see, I'll try my best. I can't guarantee that I can get, anyone to come on. Like, a lot of people that I know are very, 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 very busy. If you guys didn't see it, Tim Kennedy, who's a former top 5 welterweight in the UFC, middleweight in the UFC, and Green Beret sniper, and all kinds of other stuff. He made a cool video about my book, Pace Planning, and he put it out, I think it was last week, but I would never ask him to come on just because he's probably the busiest person on the planet. I've known him for quite a while. I think, man, it's hard to think. I think I've known him for about a decade now at this point. I'm really starting to feel old. It's, what are you going to do? All right, we have about 25 people on here now. If you are new to the stream, I'm going to put the Discord link in the chat again right now, which should go to every single channel, every single platform, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. There's the Discord link if you want to join Discord, where there be people hanging out and, asking questions, or it's not really just for asking questions, just general hangout and chat. You can hang out in the mic room, in the voice rooms, or you can hang out in the general chat. And at some point soon, I'm going to set up the poker that we could probably do on the weekends. Because in another Discord server, I think every moderator on this Discord server used to play poker in the other Discord server. And I just want to point out for the record that I still smashed every one of them, and I had the longest and still standing win streak with poker in Discord. Just want to point that out and talk a little bit of smack, do a little bit of bragging, that I think I was, even the guy who was right behind me, I want to say I was beating him by 8, 9, 10, 20 games. Something crazy. Hopefully if we play again, they don't start crushing me and I talked all this crap for nothing. But I'm still the reigning champion of online poker on Discord. And I hope to retain that belt for a very, very long time. And in case any of you moderators want to dispute that, I still have the records, I have the screenshots, I have all the information that shows all the games. So don't try anything. Oh, man. All right, anybody have any more questions? I may jump off soon or I may not. If you guys want to talk about something else, we can do whatever you guys would like. I've been going to bed later lately. I think I've been going to bed at like 10, sometimes close to 11. But I still seem to get a pretty good sleep, even though I have to get up at 5. 4:50 is when the alarm goes off, and then I have it snooze to 5:10. And I try to leave here by 6 at the latest. Try to be on the job. I don't know why I'm there that early, because sometimes some of the guys don't show up till 7:30. But I like to be able to get there, unwind, do a little bit of paperwork, make sure I got all my ducks in a row before anybody shows up. Because sometimes they'll show up and they'll have a lot of questions right out of the gate, and I might forget to do stuff that I was supposed to do. So, not that you care about my day job work life, but there it is. All right, so make sure you check the comments. The comments went out everywhere: Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. So if you want to join Discord, go ahead and jump on in, and you guys can be in there anytime you want. Just be respectful to each other. We would really appreciate that. And if you're not, I'm going to boot you out of there anyway. Not if you're just messing with people, but only if you're joking around. We don't want you to be like offending each other, or we don't want any bullies either. No bullies in Discord. If there's any bullies in Discord, got to get rid of you. But if you want other channels in Discord as well, like if you want to talk about, or if you want a specific text channel or a specific voice channel for something that's not in there now, then let me know. We have a channel in there for homesteaders, overlanding, gear talk. There's a channel for mic check. If you want to check your mic, you can, in general voice, you can say, hey, can somebody meet me in mic check so I can check my mic to make sure everything's good. Hopefully either one of the moderators or someone else will go in mic check and do that with you. Someone just joined Discord, Mike, at Mike. I'm going to assume that's Mike Vogel, but I could be wrong. Could be a totally different Mike. If it is Mike Vogel, I didn't even know he had Discord. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he does now. Or maybe it's somebody completely different. But whoever you are, make sure you go to the rules section, hit agreed, and then you will be added. If it is you, Mike Vogel, I will make you a moderator. We're very stacked right now with moderators, which is good. Keeps the riffraff out of the Discord. And I'm going to keep promoting the Discord on social media as well. So occasionally I'll put out a story or I'll put out a different post just to try to, get as many people in there as we can. I'd really like to have a lot of people from a lot of different areas so that eventually we can kind of work, hand in hand. Maybe people in your area you can go do some training with. You never know. You can meet a lot of cool people on Discord, and you can have a lot of great conversations. And there are at least 4 or 5 of the moderators that are in here that are also on a crypto Discord that have a lot of knowledge about crypto charting with TradingView, and they follow a lot of different cryptocurrencies, and some of them follow stocks. So some of the moderators could be really good resources if you have any questions about crypto. And if they don't have an answer for you, there's another Discord server that they are in. They could probably get an answer if there was something that they couldn't answer for you at the time. So if you are into crypto, that'd be a good idea. I wonder, you know what? Maybe we'll make a separate channel for crypto at some point. I'll see if there's any interest first, if people want a separate channel for crypto in the Discord. Again, over time, you can send me a DM on Discord, or you can send me an email and say, hey, we'd really like a specific channel where we can talk about blah, 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 whatever. If you want a channel to talk about long-term food storage, we can add that channel. I think as the Discord grows, most people will probably end up in the general chat, or they'll be in general voice. And then as it gets bigger, people may want separate rooms to talk about different things, and that is perfectly fine. Sometimes it gets a little rowdy. We might have to make another room that says, like, off topic. So If you're talking about crazy stuff that not everyone wants to be talking about, we can send you into the off-topic room, or whatever we end up calling it. Because the general chat and general voice, I'd like to keep it discussing basic stuff. It doesn't have to be just survival and preparedness. You can talk, about current events, things like that. We're not going to try to be strict about what people are talking about. Unless you're being a jerk. And then we're going to be a little bit strict about that. Because we want to make sure we keep a nice, cool, civil environment on Discord. And again, you don't have to you can email me, or you can send me a message on Discord if you want a very specific topic to talk about, like next Tuesday or next Thursday at one of those live streams. If you have something specific that you want to go over in the next live stream, you can always shoot me ideas, and I will do the best that I can. If it's a subject that I'm not that familiar with, or I'm learning about, like ham radio, I'm probably not going to do a stream specifically telling you about ham radio, because I wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about especially when it comes to specifics. I could tell you good places to get, like, the prep, or to get the licensing. I have the license now and registration number, and I have a handle now for GMRS, which is a feature on some of the walkie-talkies where you can use repeaters, but I still need to get the different licensing for ham radio. I do have ham radios, and I don't work with this company, and we don't make money if you guys use them, but I think I'm going to look them up. I think it's called hamradioprep.com. But these guys are actually a good group of people, and they have really good courses where they'll get you on the right track and give you the lessons to be able to get your ham radio license. So let me just make sure I have this website correct before I put it in the chat. Yeah, so it's hamradioprep.com. I'm going to put that in the chat. I want to say that I got a coupon code that you guys can use. And again, I don't make a penny even if you use the coupon code. But I got to look that up, because I'm pretty sure that when I talked to the guy, he did give me a coupon code for everybody. I just have to find it. Just give me a second. Let's see. I have so many different email folders. It's kind of crazy. I might not even be in the right email. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that I got a coupon code from the guy, but all right, here we go. I found the emails. Okay, coupon code is just the word survival, and that'll save 10% on any of the any of the courses. I don't think they sell products. Let me jump back to the window. Let me put that in the chat. So if you're looking to learn about ham radio and take the courses to learn not just about ham radio, they don't just have license prep courses, by the way. They also have courses that'll teach you how to use ham radio. They're really, really, from what I've been looking at, they're one of the good sites to do it. And when you take your license, whether it's, one of them or all three of them, you're doing that with people in the community. And I don't even think it's for profit. I think a lot of people volunteer to do the testing for the licensing. So they're a pretty tight-knit group of people. But I just put the link in the chat. So if you want to go to hamradioprep.com, I'll put coupon code survival. You will save 10%. And again, I don't make a penny. I do make money if you get either a Jace emergency antibiotic off-grid kit, or if you have some kind of chronic issue and you get emergency medications for your chronic issue, whatever that may be. If you use the link in the bio of all of our social media, there's a link in the bio where it'll say like Jace emergency antibiotics. We do make a small commission if you buy stuff from Jace. I also have a couple, I think they're still on there, a couple products like Practical Survival's water straw and things like that. It's a very small commission, which some people are like, oh, you're doing too much affiliate stuff. Well, remember, I have a full website with almost 100 different products, and I make a much higher margin selling different water filters that I have on my own website. So when I push someone like Practical Survival's water straw, it's because I think it's a great straw, and I don't carry them yet. I may eventually, but I make a very small fraction of money from what I would make selling a water filter on my own website. So I like those guys. I like those guys a lot, which is why I decided to do something as an affiliate with them. And we've been doing a little bit more of affiliate stuff here and there. Nothing crazy, just because there's a lot of products that I don't carry. And if I'm going to talk about products that I actually like, that I think are quality, and I think you guys would really like them a lot, and they'd actually help you, yeah, I'm probably going to make a small commission doing that. Like if you go to the link in our bio, we also signed up as an affiliate for My Patriot Supply. And I did a lot of research. There's a lot of good companies out there, but it seems like My Patriot Supply has pretty much the best bang for your buck when it comes to cost versus the amount of calories and the quality of food, at least in my personal opinion. And if you don't want to go to the link in the bio and you don't want to do a commission, you don't want us to get a commission on it, I don't care about that either. You can go direct to mypatriotsupply.com. You don't have to do it through us. Makes no difference. Commissions aren't very big, so it really doesn't matter unless like everybody flocked to there and bought like tons of stuff. So any of the stuff I talk about, if you don't want to go to the link in the bio for Jace Medical, just go right to Jace. Go right to Jace Medical direct. Not a big deal. Like I said, I have a full-time job and I make really good money, so I don't rely on Survival Summit to make a living. It's more of a supplemental income, and I love survival. I love preparedness. I really like everything about it, which is why I do it. Maybe someday I'll be able to do it full-time, but I don't know. Maybe not. And I have other people that can run it, even if I decided to still stick with what I'm doing anyway. And then make even more money. So, I don't know. See what happens. But again, I will zoom in. If you haven't picked up the book and you don't want to spend the money on the on the soft cover book, I just pulled up the wrong window to try to do the zoom. Pace Planning, your guide to emergency preparedness and bug out strategies. It is $24.95 right now for the soft cover, but if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free through Kindle Unlimited if you're signed up for Kindle Unlimited. I did allow it to be included in Kindle Unlimited. And if you get the Kindle and you don't have Kindle Unlimited, I believe it's $9.99 for the Kindle version. So $9.99 versus $24.95, but if you want the soft cover to keep instead of Kindle, then I'd recommend the soft cover. The other book that I wrote with E.J. Snyder from Naked and Afraid is Emergency Home Preparedness. That has been out, I believe, since maybe not October. I think it came out in October of last year. I'm pretty sure. That one is a lot cheaper. That's been out for a while. That one I think is on sale still for like $13.49. And there's a lot of great information in that book, Emergency Home Preparedness, that EJ and I wrote together. Sorry, I'm just checking a message here just to make sure it's not something important. All right, so yeah, definitely check out hamradioprep.com. Again, we don't make a penny, but they look like they have a lot of really, really good courses when it comes to ham radio. And if you have a good pace plan for your communications, again, communications, your primary is probably your cell phone. Your alternate could be a walkie-talkie. Your alternate could be a satellite phone. Could be both. Your contingency, more than likely, is going to be a ham radio, or it could be a CB radio, could be both. And then your emergency is going to be whatever your emergency is for communications. Your pace plan is going to be individualized based on your skills, your training, your gear, your location, your circumstances. Again, no one's pace plan is ever going to be the same. But in the book, we give you examples. This book isn't going to teach you how to build a fire or how to build a shelter. There's plenty of real good instructors out there that can teach you that stuff. This book is going to give you the framework for PACE when it comes to everything. Shelter, fire, water, food, medical, land nav, signaling, communication, self-defense, and way more. There's like 36 actual chapters. 37, I think, is an acknowledgement to some instructors we've worked with, and 38 is basically a glossary of survival terms, like SHTF means shit hit the fan. You'll see that a lot. Or you'll see like, trying to think of the other one that's longer, Tiawaki or something like that. It's, I'm having a brain freeze right now. I wonder if it's in here in my glossary. Let's see. It is. So Tiawaki, basically Teotwawki, it's the end of the world as we know it. So you may see that. I'm glad I put that in here. I wasn't sure if I put that in here or not. And like topo map, whenever I say topo map, that's a topographical map, which is basically a detailed map that shows elevation, terrain features, mountains. It gives you the elevation of certain parts of the mountain as you're going up and over. It gives you information on where the water is. So if you're in an area where, especially if it's part of your PACE plan, where it's either your primary location or it's your alternate or your contingency or even your emergency location, you really want a topo map of that area. That's going to help you identify food sources, water sources, and have a good map with a compass, understand how to use it and how to get to those areas if your regular handheld GPS fails. But even if you use your handheld GPS as your primary, in somewhere out in the woods or wherever you might be, you don't want to do that all the time because you're going to get rusty when it comes to land navigation. So I would still use your map and compass until you're extremely comfortable with it. And then you can use your regular GPS. It's going to be much easier to pick waypoints and say, hey, this is where the berries were. This is where I saw small game trails converge. So this is where I know the small game is. For instance, if you're looking for water, if you find where game trails converge, a lot of the times you're going to find they're converging and they're going towards a water source. And they're going to go to that water source basically through the same game trail over a long period of time. David Warner says, good night. Jesse, safe travels tomorrow. Thank you very much, David. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all of you guys stopping by. We had a decent amount of people tonight. It's not quite as good as the TikTok streams were, but I have a feeling we're going to get there, we're going to get bigger, and we're going to get better. And you know what? If we don't, I don't really care. I'm still going to stream twice a week. I mean, unless I have something like, if we're doing a concrete pour on a job, I probably won't be able to stream because those are usually 24 hours or they're split shift, so I probably wouldn't have time to do it. But generally speaking, every Tuesday and every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the stream is going to be. And again, feel free to send me any suggestions that you want, but we'll probably never, ever run out of topics. I don't think we will. Now, if I'd still been doing it every day, yeah, well, I'd probably run out of topics after a couple months. Or I'd end up talking about the same stuff too often. You guys would be like, why is he talking about the same thing again? Twice a week seems to be good. I only did it because I was trying to have time to get the book out, but it kind of works out. So if it's twice a week and then I randomly stream on TikTok on some of the off days, it seems to work out better. So you're not going to get fatigue of seeing me and listening to my voice every single day. All right. Well, if no one has any more questions, I think I'm going to cook up some eggs and then probably maybe go to bed early tonight. And again, if you haven't jumped on Discord, make sure that you do. I'm sure people would like to see you on there, and we're going to try to get the Discord channel to be more active. And again, feel free to, put questions, or there's one in there for like weekend events. If you want to take pictures of, what you did over the weekend, you can put that in the weekend events section. Or if you have, if you build a shelter or you're doing something having to do with survival especially, put some pictures, pop some stuff up on Discord. Let everybody check it out. Think of it like, kind of like Facebook, but a little better because you can actually talk to each other if you'd like. Or you don't have to talk to each other. I think Discord is underrated. There's a lot of people and a lot of good groups and a lot of crazy stuff that goes on Discord. And I think it's a good way for people to connect. So if you haven't tried it, you should definitely check it out. All right. I don't see any more questions. I don't see any more comments. So I'm going to float, and I might, depending on what time I do get home tomorrow, I might live stream on TikTok. If not, it'll be Saturday. I'll probably live stream Saturday if I don't get on Friday. And then I'll probably spend the weekend, trying to make a bunch of different content to slap up on social media. So until the next time, I will see you guys. If you don't go to any of the other random unannounced streams on TikTok, I will see you on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Twitch. Wait, did I miss one? YouTube, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. So you can go on any of those and watch the live stream twice a week. And again, when this stream is over, if you missed it and you just came in, you didn't get to see anything, and you didn't go over any of the structured topics, you can rewatch this as soon as the live is over on any of those platforms. The Twitch, I had to set the setting because the first stream didn't get saved, but now they get saved. So if you want to rewatch them, you can rewatch them on YouTube, Facebook, X, or Twitch.